Okay, hello everybody, and I hope you can all hear me. Everything should be okay, at least the stream seems to be okay, and I hope you're all excited as I am. And please let me know if you cannot hear me. Probably you can hear me, so please let me know that everything is fine. And in this, all right, thanks, Cliff. And yes, what we have now is the April assignment feedback, and it was again a real pleasure to see all your images. And what I'm really astonished is the high quality of the images, and that's something that I'm very happy about because you guys are really talented photographers, and it's a joy to see some good photography. And this time, didn't have to disqualify any images. The assignments were spot on in most cases, and that's always really good because when you have an assignment, it should be in the framework of that assignment. But as you know, I'm quite liberal in that sense that if there is any resemblance to the assignment, you can quite freely interpret what I mean with the photographs, because I don't think that photography should be really strictly rules and strict by some things on this type of assignments and having fun and getting inspired. It's of course it's a different thing if you're really studying photography, then you have to do certain things by the book just to learn them so that you can ditch all that later. And let's see the statistics from April. And what we had was 71 photographers. So we didn't lose that many. We've lost in a couple of first months quite a lot, but this time we didn't really lose that many. We had 79 last time, and now there was 71. So I'm pretty glad that this is a nice amount. And to be honest, having 266 images is a lot easier to check out than almost 500 like we had on January. But yes, still, if you're watching this and not taking part, you can still do that. It's not too late. It's a great inspiration, which I hope that more people will join. The amount of images was pretty consistent, 67, 66, 69, and 64. And this month, 31 photographers got more than 1 point for 1 week. So there were 31 different photographers who got their images in top 10, which is pretty high amount. It's almost half of you. So as I said, the quality of the images are really high, and it's not that hard for you because you're also good to be in top 10. And let me see where you guys from. I see some Guri for Day is from Netherlands. Then I have Lib Nodal from Bill Landon in Washington State, Rangefighter from North Carolina, USA. Then Anne Kasurinen, Kuopio, Wilfred Seise, Duisburg, Germany. Then we have Pete Blake from London, Ingrid from Saarlouis, Germany, Isabelle Fourret from France, Andreas Moldovan is from Romania, Josi Ran from Haifa. Then we got Cardoso from Marta Cardoso from Portugal, and AJ Cooper, 3:37 a.m. Adelaide. Hats off for you being early here. That's something. And Cliff Collins from California, James Meeks from Oklahoma, and Ingrid is asking how to join. Go to my channel, and you are there, and go and check out the the video about 52 assignments. I think it was somewhere in December. And we have Raquel from Portugal, and Cora from Germany, Mats from Sweden. So we have, again, California to Adelaide, Australia. That's huge, and everything between. I really enjoy this variety of countries and continents that we have on these live streams, and also images come from all over the world, which is always a joy to see different parts of the world. And then let's check out the scoring system as just a reminder that the best image of months gets 10 points, and then second 8, third gets 6, and fourth 5, fifth 4, and 6 to 10 you get 2 points. And every image that you send will get 1 point. But of course, if it gets 2 points, then it doesn't get the extra one, so it's or extra point, so it's only 2, it's not 3 points. And then best of the month get an additional 5 points. And at the end of the year, we will see who has the most points. And of course, on this one, I will also show the April top point and then what's the total score so far. But without further ado, let's see what the week 14 brings us. And the assignment was capture the same scene at different times of day. And it was a diptych. 2 images put into one, and this was really interesting to see what you guys came up with. It was a lot of good images and a lot of interesting stuff. And let's see. This is let me see if this works. Yes, let's start with this image from. I have them over here, so that's why I have to look to this side. Well, this one was from Christina Barnes. As usual, you can see in the top of the image on the white border, you can see the week and then the name, and the first number is the points that the image will get. And I really enjoyed this diptych this way, that you put 2 images together and almost seamless stitching on the images and the crop and everything. It looks really interesting. And this was during the day, maybe a bit dull day, but that's always something that you cannot control if you have the time to make the image. And it's probably not the perfect time that you have the possibility to go out and photograph, but the night shot is really interesting, and I like the reflections on the reflection of the light on the water, and then the contrast of the water on the day part of the image. You have the black thing. I don't know if it's a shadow or something. The water is moving, and then on the other side you have almost the same pattern with the lights, kind of like a similar shape. And I think that was really interesting. And when you have image with in the nighttime and you have some lights inside the buildings, inside the rooms of the buildings, it's usually a lot better than just dark windows. So if you have a possibility to get so that you have a light in every window, which of course is nothing that you can control, but if it's possible, then that's the time to take the photograph. But yeah, we had a good start with this image. Let's see as it works. And then we had a really innovative and creative solution from Eric David, and I really enjoyed this. You had the grayscales, and then you have one really interesting thing is that the direction of the light is totally different too, because it's a different time of day, and that's the way it should be. And I think this was really refreshing. It was totally different, and that's one part why this was in top 10, because the what do you call the clock, or the you know, the grayscale thing, and this was brilliant, I think. And if you comment the images, then I might not be able to pull out the comments to the screen for 2 reasons. I haven't figured it out on this new software that I've been using for a couple of months. I haven't really had time to take a look. And then there is a 20-second delay when I see the image on my screen here, which I see the screen, and then your comment. So that's unfortunate thing. But if it's possible, I will comment back. Then we have this from Siddharth Deshpande, an image indoors, which also is really well done, and especially the nighttime image. I like the light from the. Let me see. I don't know if you can. You probably can't see my mouse, so maybe I'll just put it away. And the triangle that it makes on top of the table under the what do you call the table lamp. And what I also like is that the composition of the crop is exactly the same. The only thing that I would have liked is to have some detail in the windows outdoors. I don't know what's behind there, but it's slightly too bright. But otherwise, I like the image a lot. And what's good about is that the little paper tissue thing, that it's, you know, the light comes through it, and then you can see the different colors on the box, and it still has some shape and stuff from the table lamp. And I think that's also quite brilliant. And what I like about it is that the table or the countertop is not clean, that you have some clutter in there. And I think that's something that we should do, is that don't always try to polish everything. Just leave some distracting element in there. And I really enjoyed that. I don't know, probably the camera was on a tripod for the whole day, maybe. I don't know. But this is a good way of making the image. I enjoyed this image a lot. Then we have this, which the one on the left is sunset, and I enjoyed the sky. And then we have the one on the right, looks like the what do you call, the sunrise almost. That's what it looks like. Might be only a couple hours before, because you have the pink moment there, and the color of the sky is really nice. And what I like about it is the reflection on the water, because it's totally calm. You can see on the left side, you can see the clouds, and then there is some, I don't know, some branch or something on the water which is missing from the right side. And I think that kind of breaks the symmetry, which I really enjoyed on this one, and the calmness of the water. And it's not totally the same composition, but I don't think it matters. I think it works quite well like this. It's probably a little bit different focal length too, so which makes it, you know, more dynamic. If you can see from the background that it's slightly different focal length. But yes, this one also works. And I'm really sorry that I have to put the white frames around the image, because then I can put the text, so it's not on the image itself, but it's on the edges. And this one was Stefan Kuhl, or yeah, Kuhl, it is the name. Then we have an image from Margaret Wong, the same place, not exactly the same crop. It doesn't really matter, it's close enough. And then we like, what I like is the sky in the back. I don't know, this is probably a couple of hours or even less, because it's nighttime images both, but it's a different time anyways. And I really liked, because the sky on these, on the top one, and then you have the left, the bottom one, it's almost like a negative. If you look at the sky, it has similar texture and similar looking what do you call, the clouds. And that's what I really enjoyed in this image. And then the composition, I think the composition on the top image is a little bit better, because the bridge is more in the center of the attention when we look at the image. And on the bottom one, you have some kind of a thing on the water. Maybe it's a restaurant or something. That's you know, kind of like a floating restaurant, and that's a little bit too much. But so that if you had the image cropped the same way as the top one, it would have been even better. But yeah, I think it's well done, and especially, you know, the what I was almost forget to say is the colors on the water on the bottom one, and also on the top one you have the reflection from the sky that makes the water look really interesting. But yeah, a good implementation of the topic. Then we have this Rainer Vogel's image, which especially on the image on the right side, which is actually quite interesting that this was the first one where you have the later image on the right side, and I actually enjoyed that the other ones had put the image that been taken later on the left side, which is kind of wrong, but in that sense, in a good way. But yes, and this one I especially like the little lamp that is lighting the keyboard. It's not the keyboard on a grand piano. And what's interesting also in this image is that on the left side, I think the centerpiece that we see first is the red chair, and then we see the grand piano in the background. And on the right side, we don't even see the chair, but we know it's there because it's on the image on the left. And then the attention on the right side of the image is exactly in the where the grand piano is. And excuse me. And that is something that I like about this. And if there had been something in the background, like we can see from the left side on the image that there is a wall or a building quite close to the window, across the street maybe, it would have been so cool if there was a hint of light from that window on the right side on the image that's taken in the nighttime. But of course, that is something that is impossible to control, and maybe there was no possibility to get that. But other than that, I think it works well. And also one thing is the carpet. It's perfectly aligned, as you see from the red chair, and behind the red chair is the carpet, and you can see that it's perfectly aligned, and that's also kind of makes the small thing that would make this image even better is if you look at the middle where the image is changed, if that curtain, if there would have been the slight part of the white wall, without that it would be even better, so that the curtains would be like this, so that there wouldn't be a gap. Then it would kind of be seamlessly, you would actually think that it's kind of like a place with two grand pianos in a way. But yeah, that could have been a little bit, or made it even better. Let's go to the next one. And again, Daytime, Nighttime by Patrick Wandelberge. And yeah, what I enjoyed about this is that it's exactly the same crop. I don't know if this was a place where you stayed a long time or just managed to do the same crop. Maybe it was a little wider and it's cropped in post. And that's, I enjoyed, and I like that there is a ship in the background. But again, on this one, if there had been some light in the building, in the apartment building back there, so like the window or the lights inside would have been turned on, it would be even better. But that's something that you cannot control. And I like the little panorama thing that it's made. I don't know what do you call the aspect ratio is, but it's really nice. One thing on this, when you make them like this and they are, seamlessly together, if the sky would have been slightly lighter and it would have kind of blended in with the water, that would have been something really interesting, and see how that would have worked. But of course, when it's in daytime or later night, and then or before sunset and then at sunset, it's going to be hard, because that would have made maybe the sky too washed out on the image on the below. But that could have been, I don't know, something to play around with. But nevertheless, it was a really good image anyways. Then we have this from Peter Tindley. This is on the borderline, because you can't really for sure tell that it is a different time. But I think the overall look of this is so interesting, and the curves and everything. As you see you have the curves on the left side like this, and then it goes down like this on the right side, and there is a pattern, and kind of different way. It goes this way and this way, so that also breaks the pattern. And I kind of enjoyed this. This is really artistic image, and I'm not sure if it's snow. No, it's not snow. It's mud and water on the top part of the left image. But yeah, this one works really well. Oops, wrong keyboard. Then we have Raquel Duarte, who was one that really crushed it last month and again in top 10 on image. And as you see, it's perfectly aligned, the really interesting looking building. And then what I liked about was the 3 people in both images. It would have been even better if the 3 persons on the right side would have been at the same spot as these 3 runners on the left side. But of course, it's really hard to control, because if you have this opportunity, you just have to take it that maybe they weren't in a perfect position when they were at the same spot. But I really enjoyed this image, and also you can see that it's a different time. You have the different color of the sky, and it's an interesting looking building. I wonder what it is. If I think you're here, could you please tell us what the building is? I think this one just marvelous and stunning image. And then the best image from this assignment is from Wilfried Seise. And I don't know what this is, but there are stairs, so you're supposed to walk here, but I'm not sure how on earth are you going to walk on the loop there. This place, and perfect stitching, just totally perfect. And I enjoyed that there is light on the left side, so it really pops out, and the beautiful dark blue sky. And then on the other one you have a lighter sky. And maybe what would have made this even better is just add some contrast to the right side. But I think this is visually really interesting. All right, now Raquel is saying that it's Maat in Lisbon. Oh, I've been in Lisbon for many times, but I haven't seen that. Maybe next time I will go take a look. It's a huge sculpture, like a roller skater, and you can walk on it. Yeah, that's what I figured. But Wilfried, how do you go around the loop? Is the stairs so that you can actually walk around the loop? It's beautiful. Where is this? I'm sorry if you had it on the form, because I don't have them right now here. Yeah, also interested in that. Where is this? Let's wait for a little while if Wilfried will answer, because that's definitely something. You can't walk the loop. All right, yeah, that's what I figured. Oh, it's in Duisburg. Yes, Duisburg. Yeah, that's something. Maybe I'll go and see that sometime. That's really marvelous. Yeah, but here we had the top 10 images. I don't know. I think it was stunning quality, and there were a lot of good images that unfortunately was not in top 10. And then we go to week 15, which is create a photo representing a specific emotion without using people. And of course, this is a little bit hard because, to be honest, I should have asked what the motion is. Someone asked at me that should we write that, and that was something that I unfortunately missed. So we have to guess what the motion is. But I think there are images that evoke some emotions. And as I always says, it's the same with the stories. We all have different stories for our images, or we have an image that tells a story. We have a story for it, and you as a viewer might have a different story for the image. And the same thing goes with the emotion and the feeling that the image arises. So let's go to the next one. And here we have Jarmo Duffa from Finland. And yes, a very visually pleasing image, and it's kind of like a from a nightmare or some mystical feeling that we get from this image. And this is also one of those images that you could print and put on your wall. It's a little bit sinister and a little bit maybe melancholy, and that, I don't know. It's and I like the composition that you have, the reddish colors and that, and then on the other side it's more bluish. So it's in a way what I would interpret this, and to be a little bit optimistic, it kind of looks like the light, the bright color is overtaking the darkness, the blue darkness. Then, and the next image, if you could imagine, would be so that there's even more the red color, and then the blue is kind of fading away. So it's in a way also a little positive feeling that I get from this image. I don't know if that's anything. If Jarmo is here, then maybe you can tell us what the feeling is. Then we have Nikos Kalogeropoulos, a really interesting, and also raises a lot of questions. What are these that looks like clothes, or a piece of cloths, and some kind of a something has been left behind. That was my feeling in a bigger sense, that something has left behind. Someone has, left everything and gone. I don't know. It's very mysterious image, and I like the way that it's cropped from the top, that you can kind of see the curve. And usually this is, especially here in the western part of the world, if something goes like this, it goes to the kind of like to the past. And if everything goes this way, sorry, then it's to the future. And this one goes first to the future and then it goes back, so it's a little melancholy in that sense. Of course, if you are from different cultures, you might see that different, because of course how we see what is progress is a little bit different in symbolism if we go to the Far East, for example. And that's the way we read the images, a little bit different in different cultures. I don't know if you get the point. Then we have this image from Anne Kasurinen, and she's had these really bizarre and really odd images. If those who watched last time, you could see the blood, and we have the same here. And the funny thing is that she's been sending images to these live streams for years, and when I see an image from her, I always know without looking at the name. I can guess, and that's a good sign also. And I especially like this because it's also something that you have this rotten, what's pear? Is that a pear? Or what the fruit is? But anyways, you all know what it is. And then you have the one that is kind of all fresh, and it's I can't really interpret probably correctly this one, because it's a little bit threatening. The bigger pear threatens the smaller one, or looks after. I don't know which one it is, but it's well made. It's really good white background. It's not really easy to make an image that you have the details in the subject itself and on a totally white background. This is usually in if you study photography, this is usually, this type of images are something that you need to practice. And it's not really easy to make it. Of course, you can help it with image editing, but still, it's not easy. But yeah, visually, really interesting. And this is something that could make a nice set of images to make like 10 similar type images and have them printed big. It could be something. But yeah, definitely I can recognize your images, and that's a good sign. Then we have Ari Tiedenberg. And one interesting thing, we've seen 3 images from Finnish photographers. And if you know Finns, we're not people that express our feelings. Maybe we do it through photographs because we don't talk about our feelings face to face. That's, just my interpretation of us Finns. And yeah, this is a sad feeling. There is still some light and hope. But then, everything has gone and it's a sad feeling. Get some water from the tears and, you can't write it what you wanted to write. And yeah, really a little bit sad image. But really well done. Ari's been doing this type of studio, kind of like studio type images before, and those really work. So he really knows how to do that. Yeah, great stuff. Then we have Brad Warrior, and this is a scary feeling. I don't know, this whole composition works really well. You have the coffee on the edge, so you it's we know what coffee means because we need coffee in the morning, and coffee is actually kind of like a symbol of things that we need some boosting, or we have a break, and this is a little contradicting in a way that the coffee mug is on the edge of the counter here, and then there is a laptop and probably some work being doing, and yeah. I can really feel a little bit tension on this image. That's why it's on this top 10. Yeah, thanks, Anne. Peer, that's what it is, yeah. Then we have Jens Degard image, a little sad and sinister image, and it looks like it's a multiple exposure because you have the cross or the stone kind of like there's a double on it, and then it's over a little bit over blending the branches of the tree on top of the rock, and yeah, a little sad feeling. And I like the little off composition too, that makes it even sadder in a way, in a good way, if you can say that sad is good, but you know what I mean. The composition kind of like complements the feeling that I get from this image and the emotion. And also, the crosses are on the bottom, and then you have the sky and on the top, and there is more room in there because many of us would have made this so that there is little of the sky and more of the rock, but I think this works better. It's a good way, and I really like this, that many of you have been playing around with the compositions here in this different months in these assignments and trying, break the conventions. And I think that's something that all of you should take from these images when you see other people's images. Don't try to make the safe bet. Make something wacky and a little bit off the norm. I think it's a lot better and more interesting images. And then a little similar subject from Jose Rebocco. Not sure how this is made. Maybe it's an overlay made in post or multiple exposure, because it doesn't look that the camera has been moving. Maybe the first image is just a sharp image of the graves, and then another image on top where the camera has been moving, because that's what it looks like. Or then it's just an overlay. I'm not really sure. Could be from somewhere else. If you look at the image on the top right corner, you could see that there are like images on a wall, and the same thing goes on the left side too. And then you have what looks like graves, and then maybe those are the images of those people, and it kind of has that emotion of what do you call when you're missing someone. Maybe that's the feeling. That's what I get from this. And the composition is almost symmetrical, but it's, of course, because the graves are a little bit different on the sides, it kind of breaks it. But there is some symmetrical vibe to this. Yeah, I like this image. Then we have Deb O'Connor, again, to the same theme, in loving memory of, and I'm glad that you cropped it. Yeah, there's a good question. Now I need to take the question that Lextonian is wondering why, and I am the same. Why in the subject of emotions we go to negative emotional images, not positive ones? Yes, that's what it usually is. Because probably the negative, we feel that it's more artistic and we feel them stronger, and it's probably easier to tell the stories, because to be honest, if you have some positive emotions, it usually requires that you have people in the images, and these where there are no people, they are by definition they are more melancholy, in my opinion, and that's why that is probably the easier way to do it. But that's an interesting question, and that's something to figure out. And if any of you have any answers for this question, please put them in the chat box, and we could discuss that a little bit more after we've watched or looked at all these images. And this one was by Deb O'Connor, and I really like the light and on the smoke, and it's. I hope the memory isn't going up in smokes. I hope that's not the feeling that we have here, but it's really well done image. Not sure if the smoke is real or made in post. It doesn't really matter because it looks real. Most likely it's made because of the different light that the smoke has. It's more bluish on the left hand corner, and then it goes more red because there's a red light on the right side. But yeah, if you're photographing smoke, having a light coming behind the smoke usually looks better than from the front. Like here we have done the lights coming from a little bit from the backside, and then dark background so that the smoke comes visible, because if it's light then you can't see it at all. Then we have Volker Thomsen, and this one was visually really good, and I really like there is also a story. There is a feeling of hope. Maybe this is what I see as a positive image. Someone has left a hat behind. It doesn't matter, because there's joy that someone has seen someone, because you can see the light from the open door, and then the hat, and the light is here what really strikes me. It's really well done, and this image could be also printed somewhere as a poster or something. Oh, now there is Guru for a Day. I did a lot of customer satisfaction surveys, and people are good in telling why they are unhappy, not satisfied, than explaining why they are happy, unless they are ecstatically that's a hard word for me. Ecstatically happy. Sorry. And that's, yeah, probably that is. It's a lot easier to whine about something than being positive and show your positive emotions. I don't know. Maybe that's probably it's also a little bit different in cultures, because up here in the north we tend to be more melancholy than people in the southern part of Europe and different parts of the world. It's just maybe it's the climate and the we have like 7 months of darkness in the north, so that's maybe it is. But yeah, that's a good answer. It's an interesting question to be thinking about a little bit more. Maybe we should show some joy in our images more than, some sad things. I don't know. That's an interesting question. And then the top image was from Alan Cooper, and this is a strong feeling, and this is New Zealand marriage certificate, and he's burning it, and then you have a broken mirror, and this tells, for most, is a story, and many of us can see, hope not relate, but can see what the feeling is. Broken dreams and, burns in flames, the dreams. It's a strong image, and this one was the best one for this month. And then week 16 was capture the beauty of decay. This is something that I try to do quite a bit in my images. I don't know, I'm drawn to that because many of us tend to photograph beautiful things, but what if we could photograph not so beautiful things and try to find the beauty in there, which of course makes it that we're photographing beautiful things, which is, that's kind of like a little paradox that we first try to photograph beautiful things and then we go to find the beauty in the decay. But of course, why not seeing beautiful things, if that makes any sense. Oh, not that one. We go here. And we start with image from Cliff Collins. A little melancholy image. Nice colors. Usually this type of image, people think black and white, but with the color of a sky like that, I think the color is the right choice here. And we can see the rusty fence and some barbed wire. And it's a little mystery because we can't really see what's behind there. It's darkness. Yeah, well done. And also well done with the composition too. I really like the kind of like the leading line that goes to the darkness, and it's and still I find these type of fences there. I think they are beautiful, even though many of us think that they are just garbage. But I think they are beautiful. Then we have this image from Roland Fisher, and I think this kind of combines the beautiful flowers, the beautiful surroundings, a rusty fence, and a really kind of house that's, not at its best. But I think the white wall and then the window and the door is kind of like in the center of the image. Well made composition because you have the fence framing the center of the image. And then there is I'm trying to show from the screen, you can't see what I'm showing, is the branch with, or the tree branch with really bright color, green, and then the blue flowers. It's kind of, how to say, a nice contrast. You have this beautiful front, or the front is the fence, and then you have the middle ground that is really beautiful, and then you have the old house that's not at its best anymore, and then you have a nice forest in the background. I think this has many layers and kind of found the beauty in the decay in its fullest, in my opinion, on this image. Then we have Nikos Kalogeropoulos. I think he had already one image before, a little similar type or similar tones on that image. And yeah, this kind of like deadpan style straight in front, you can really see that it looks like a storefront, a door, and some, I don't know what's in the front. It looks like old, maybe magazines that are been there for too long, or some cardboard. I don't know what it is. And yeah, and it's really well made composition. And what I really liked is exactly the composition, because it's you know, the geometrical things. You have squares all over the place and different type, and then the what do you call, the cardboard or magazines that are in front kind of breaks the perfect geometry on this image. Yes, well done, Nikos. Then this one from Peter Tindley. I think he had already one image before on this. And yes, it's probably an old pier, I think. That's what it looks like. That it's looks pretty beautiful in my opinion, and the sea, and then I really like that there's one person in the middle of the image with the blue coat. It kind of like complements the blue sky here, and white hair and the clouds. I think that really works. And then, you know, the legs are like the pillars, so there are similar elements in that. And yeah, it's a beautiful symmetrical composition, which is of course broken by the sky that usually breaks symmetry, because skies and clouds are very seldom really symmetrical. And also the little longer shutter speed here, because the water is slightly moving. It could be even slightly longer. That could probably be even better, but it works well like this too. And then something different, looks like a leaf on a rusty surface. Visually really interesting image from Patrick Wanderberger. He has second image in top 10. Very well done, you too. And the color, the almost golden glow on the leaf, and then, you know, the rust. I think this also is one of those images that is telling us the beauty in the decay quite well. This is also an image that you could print and put on the wall as a piece of art. I think this is very arty image. And also what I like about it is the depth of field is just perfect, because the whole leaf is sharp, and as soon as the leaf ends, the rusty part is out of focus, so it kind of sticks, and that also makes the leaf pop out from the image, or from the surface, from the background. And this is something, I don't know, it's a very simple image, but this is something that I can just stare because of the detail and the glow of the leaf. Then we have this from Raul Almeida, again another deadpan style image where you have straight on from towards the subject. And yes, I think it's a beautiful building, even though it's had its best years. And what's wondering or puzzling me is why is it renovated, because the right part of the wall looks freshly painted, and then the rest is not so freshly painted. But it has been a beautiful building, and I think it still is, even though I don't think anyone would want to live in a building that looks like that. And yeah, and a perfect symmetry, which is broken by the edges. As you see, there is a fence on the left side, and then I think it's a fence, but it's on a different level. Yeah, probably because it's a little leaning towards this a little. And then also the little box that is on the left side is kind of a little nice add-on to the image. Yeah. If you hear Raul tell us the story of the building, if you happen to know, it'd be interesting to hear. And then this one from Ari Tiedenberg. I think he has also had a second image here this week with 5 points on this one. A little similar type that is stage image. And flowers are beautiful when they are at their best, and when they're not at their best, they're still beautiful in my opinion. I think more photogenic when they're a little dried. Especially roses are really interesting looking when they're dried, and all the different colors, and then a little odd. And what is that? It's probably a lantern where you can put a candle inside, and he had made this kind of sculpture, and they are kind of coming out, like they're falling out of when you open the door. Yeah, I like this because it was one of those images that were totally different from many other images. And also the color palette on this, all the different colors, and you have some blue on the top, and then all these red and yellow colors, and you have the yellow rose in the top that really pops out. Well done, Ari. Then we have another image from Raquel Duarte again, and this is just a perfect moment. And you have a dog graffiti on the back, and then you have a dog in the front, a real dog on the front. Perfect timing with the shutter, and there's a car tire and some water, and then some graffitis and some old beat up building. What I would have liked is a little bit more punch to the colors. It's a little kind of too subtle colors, but that's of course your style. I'm not saying that's wrong, and it probably is. If you look at the dog's color, maybe it is better this way. Yeah, well done again, Raquel. And then we have this image from Isabelle Fourret. Nice, minimalistic, simple image, really beautiful image of a place that has seen its best days, and those are gone unless someone renovates it. And the red lamp on the ceiling looks really good, and the composition is beautiful. It's just perfect. I think this image is really, really good, and doesn't require that much. Even though I don't like spot colors, the way you have black and white and then only one color, but this one is color image because it's not black and white. You can see that there is some yellowish tint on the wall, and yeah, but really stunning image. And again, one of those images that you could print and put on the wall and frame it. Stunning. Then we have this image from Peter Brook, which was the best image from Beauty in the Decay. It's just a bizarre image. I wonder what this is, because there are these places. I know I've seen one of these, some of these places when I've traveled, that all of a sudden there is a field full of different cars. But this one, they're all same color and looks to be similar type of colors. Minivans, most of them, or some small cars. I think the one on the front on the right is a small car, and it's just very bizarre image, and there is something beautiful about this. You have the beautiful green, and then you have the beautiful cars, and just something else. I think this was just astonishing image. Just maybe it's because it's so bizarre, and you have I didn't even count how many cars there are, and they are just, it looks like somebody has made or put them there so you could get a perfect composition from this. If Peter is here, we'd love to hear about what is this all about. Yeah, but there we had week 16, and we have 1 week left, and that is capture the interplay of light and shadow in architecture. Yeah, this is also something that I like to do quite a bit, is to photograph the shadow play in the city, because light and shadows are something that makes an image more interesting. If you have plain light, it can work, but it's a deadpan and a little bit boring to have a lot of those images. Every now and then, just do that. If it's a kind of like a dull weather, you can't just find any real good light or shadows. But these were really also interesting images. And we're starting with Richard Faucher's image with some staircase, and there's some people can sit there. It's, I don't know what it is, maybe a school or library or something. And or how the light and shadow makes the crosses, and you have the windows. That's probably, well, that's why, because you have that type of windows in that. That's why it makes those. But at the same time, it makes the same pattern as the windows in the back, and then you have these high rises there and a person there. I think that, or many say that having a person like this on an image is a big cliche, but there are many things that actually need this. It would be very empty without anyone in the image. So it's kind of like an anchor. We see that first, and then we start coming back and seeing all the shadow play. And usually these type of images are really busy, which is for me something that I tend to avoid, even though I've been lately photographing images that are really busy. Been doing a lot of reflections, which sometimes have many layers and are really busy. But this one has, and one really important thing on this image is, as you see from the left or the lower left corner, is a big shadow that kind of leads us to the person, or from the back from the person. It's kind of pointing at the person, and I think that really makes the image. And also the shadows on the wall that goes, so it kind of adds makes the leading lines and points towards the person. And then you can see some details also there, like the cushions and stuff like that. And this one doesn't really have that much shadow play, but you have the silhouettes, like it was mentioned in the 3 points that I made about these. You have almost silhouettes against a reflecting glass wall. It's a building or some sort, and then you have the reflection of the building there, and there are some shadows on the left side, and then you have some girl with the bright dress or white dress that sticks out from there. Let's see, there's some connection problems, but I guess the stream is totally fine. And yeah, and of course, again, a perfect time to press the shutter. If you look at the boy that is in the front on the right side, and there is some shadow on him too. So, and then there are some silhouettes in the reflection. So there's a lot of going on with the light and shadow in there, even though it doesn't look that, or the first thing that you don't see is it's a different type of shadow, light and shadow play. And it was from Paul Guerra. Well done. Then this one would have been even better to add some contrast to it, but there is lots and lots of shadow play. You have some kind of the stairs make another interesting thing, that you look that it's a part of the building, but it's actually a shadow from the rails on the top that are the stairs. And then you have the white thing. It's a very abstract image, but adding a little bit more contrast to make the shadow play even better would have made this image, maybe even would have gotten some more points. But it works like this too. Then we have this image from Brad Warrior with some interesting light streaks from the windows. It probably is those are windows that they're reflecting the light from the windows. And it's Seaford LS. Oh, I don't know what the place is, but it looks really interesting. And the boards are going this way, and the lights are going this way, and then you have the window rail, and then there's a nice reflection on the right side there too. I don't know, maybe a little tighter crop so that on the left side you would take it a little bit in and make it a little bit more abstract. Now it's maybe too obvious that it's a building. Cropping a little bit tighter, that would have been also something to try. I'm not sure. Maybe it works this way, but maybe if you're watching this, maybe you play around with the crop a little bit and see how that looks. And then this interesting image from Marta Cardoso, really well made composition. And again, an important thing that there is the person to give us scale and give us an anchor to watch. And then the composition is just perfect. It's not symmetrical, even though you could make almost a symmetrical image here, probably. But this, I think, works a lot better. And then the bright in the middle, maybe lowering that a little bit to see a little bit more details in the background. But also the position of the person, which I didn't mention yet, is perfect. It's you can see that he's walking a little bit on the side like this. And then you have the light play goes with the concrete beams or whatever you call those. You see the light, and the funny thing is that the light comes from two directions, and some of the light reflects to the sides of the thing, and they are really separated with the light and shadow play here. And this is a really interesting place. I would love to see this place. I wonder where this is. If you're here, I think you were here. So if you could tell us where this is, just for future reference, maybe if I travel that place, that would be interesting to photograph. Then we have this from Raul Almeida. I think his second image for this week. And a silhouette and some real interesting shadows and light on the sky too, and the pillars, and then some shadow play on the wall there, and some darkness on the other side. This is a strange composition that you would think that there is too many elements, and in a way they are, but that makes the image interesting. It's not, because many of us would have probably cropped the structure from the left side, and if we kind of make that, we can get them. If you just kind of like put that and crop it in your mind, the image would be more minimalistic. But I think this little thing on the left side is the thing that kind of makes the image even better. And of course the two persons there, and someone is saying, Wilfred is saying, that looked like a still from a sci-fi movie. Yeah, that's true. And also the little panoramic format makes it more cinematic, and that's always something that if you want to make cinematic images, make a panorama, because widescreen is the thing in the movies nowadays. So that's also something to think about. But yeah, this works really well. Let's go to the next one. And this is from Johannes Ortner. A nice, simple, minimalistic image and really well seen thing. And what I like about this is the perfect angle of the shadow. It's a perfect timing when you have the kind of like the 45-degree angle where the light comes to the kind of, it's not balconies and not French balconies, but some shades that shade the windows from excessive sun. I think that's what it is. And also like the bluish shadow, and that is because it's in the shadow of the windows, the curtains, and this one I like that it has similar type of curtains. I don't know if maybe it's an office building. It looks like a residential building, but I don't know. Yeah, but perfect shadows. Oh, that's from Lisbon, near the Garde de Oriente, smelly place. Parque das Nacoas. Yeah, maybe I'll have to remember that place, because Lisbon is really one of my favorite cities. And yeah, then we have two more images. We have this really good shadow play. This is, true shadow play because of the building. As you see, it has this, and the light comes from perfect. And what really makes the image is the shadow of a lamppost that is kind of like a square. What do you call that? Twisted. I don't know what you call that shape when it's a square that's not, from the straight on. And yeah, this is something that I was talking earlier about the contrast, and this one has it, because I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, I can see from my screen there are some details on the darker side, on the shadow side. And this one, if you look at it long, you don't really see which way they're going. Sometimes the shadows are going this way, and sometimes they're going this way, at least from the middle. On this side, of course, you can see the perspective that it's going that way because it's going smaller. But on the middle, sometimes it's move. It's almost a kinetic image in that sense. And this is really, really a stunning image. Well done, Pascal. And then we have one more, and guess what? It's Raquel Duarte again. This was by far, I think, the best. It's just stunning, and you can really tell her style, and the shadows that comes from that, and it kind of draws us into the image. It pulls us in, and it's the diamond shape. Yes. James Meeks, thank you. Sometimes I have hard time to find the right words for different shapes and different things. Thank you very much. And yeah, and again, you have a person there in the perfect spot, and it's running, and with the white dress and empty and perfect composition. Maybe a little bit of a cliche, but if you look at it, it's right in the corner. And then you have this, and it's just, you would almost feel, if this was a little bit bigger on the screen, you could almost feel that you are inside there. It's just, I'm astonished that Raquel is producing this top-notch images constantly on this. And what makes it even more astonishing is that because of the quality of, and then the standard of the images is quite high anyways, and still she can do this. That's just astonishing. Now I have to use my mouse because there's some connection. And here we have the 4 best images. We had this. Oh, I have March 25. That's April 25. Sorry, I forgot to change that. Maybe I'll let's see if it's, let's fix that. Now it's April, I hope. Yeah, we have this image from Wilfred. Then we had this from Alan Cooper. And then we had this from Peter Brock. And then we have this from Raquel Duarte. I don't know, you probably have your favorite. What was my favorite? It was Wilfred. Wilfred. I'm sorry if the name is wrong. Wilfred, yeah. Oh no, this is not good. Let's fix it. Wilfred. Now I think it's correct. Yeah. And I think this one was the most interesting. First of all, of course, the location is interesting, and then the way Wilfred made this image. I think it's a stunning image, and something not so obvious too. And the idea that having, the same spot perfectly aligned in a different time of day. I'm not sure how this was made. Maybe there is a platform or some sort, because using a drone for this, I think it would be impossible to get it right like this. Yeah. And then we have the March score, and guess what? Raquel had, again, she had most. Oh, that was made with a drone. Really? How did you get it aligned? This is astonishing. I'm glad that I picked this, because I thought that there might be a. It looks like a drone shot, but I thought that it can't be because it's so perfectly aligned. Yeah, this is, well, I'm glad that I picked this one. You had the GPS coordinates, but still, the height and everything. Did you take many images? Did you have more? Or how many shots did you need to take to get it right? Yes. Let's get back to the points. Well, in March, Raquel got 28 points. Today, only 25. But she had 2 months in a row first position, and I'm really looking forward to the images from May, because if she can keep up with this, it's going to be really something else. And when I'm looking at these images, I always look them so that I don't know who made the image. I only look at it afterwards, even though there are a few photographers, like I said before, that I know from when I see an image, I guess, because they've been sending images for years to my live streams. And yeah, these are the top 10. I didn't have the 10 because there were quite a lot of people that had 5 points, so that's why it's only kind of like top 9 this time. And then if we look at the total points, here is Raquel Duarte 74, Wilfried Zaise 50, and then we have Paul Guerra and Richard Faucher 38 points, and then we have 36, 34, 33, 32, 32, 31, and 30 points. So it's getting to be so that Raquel has kind of like taken a bit of a lead, 24 points, which is actually quite a lot of points. But we will see what happens next month, which I hope you have been photographing already. And if you have any questions about, just send me an email. I might not answer right away, but I try to answer you all. I know sometimes I might miss something, but I try to answer you all. But it's been a little bit longer this time because I had more to say about the images. Oh, you went there 2 times. It's probably, I don't know. Oh, that's my mistake. It's probably, yeah, I'll need to check that out. I don't know. I hope it's not. It's probably, if it's someone else, I will send that to in a what do you call, in the newsletter. Sorry about that. But I will look into it. What was the problem? But hey, it was really interesting to look at your images, and thank you so much for sending them. And I hope we will get at least the 71 that's sent this month again. This month in May, and again I will have about the same time the next live stream. So check out my channel, and don't forget to check out the email or the newsletter that I will be sending after the the May assignments are done. It will be a Sunday again, and check out your spam folder too if you don't find it, or mark it as okay, because there's been some questions about why didn't I get the mail, but then they've found it from the spam folder. So take a look at your spam folder every now and then and see, so that you don't miss it if you want to send your images. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone who sent the images. And to be honest, I'm really astonishing that you can keep up the good work, because it's not easy to get a good this quality image every week. It's not easy, and of course when you have an assignment that is given to you from someone else, it's even harder, because you have to really think what's in my mind and what I want and what you want, and then combine the whole thing. And the most important thing is that if you start thinking what I like, you will fail. Photograph the way you like to photograph, and the rest will follow. If you try to please me, it won't work. It's just the way it is. It doesn't work, because then you're not doing your work or your photographs. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.